Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. Hey, Samantha. Oh, this should also be recording, but I'm going to record on my phone also. Let me put this on airplane mode so no one can bother us. And if y'all could, if y'all want to have your picture up, that's fine. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. So if y'all see me looking down, I do have notes prepared. Let me exit out of this. I do have notes prepared to help me along today. Let's see here. Let me get my presentation up. Give everybody a few more moments to get logged in. Okay, so I just want to make sure that everybody can still hear me. Okay, so Samantha's going to leave and come back. If you can hear me though, can you, I might have pressed mute. Can y'all hear me? Okay.
Yes.
You say yes?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I can hear you too, Ashley.
Okay, good. Woo, child. So this is not a standard type of home buyer seminar. I want this to be a little bit different, not too scripted. So we're gonna have us a good time. I see Samantha still coming back on. So thank you. Let me make sure y'all all can see me good. This looks like it's a lot of light. Okay. Good. All right, so let me get this video started and the recording started on that, and we'll get started. So it looks like it's recording. Okay. All righty. Share screen. Okay, are you all able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. We're rolling, y'all. Let's see. Okay, so welcome. Thank you all so much for coming in with me this Saturday and spending a little bit of time with me. I am nervous, but I'm excited to help you all get closer to purchasing a home and just get an understanding about what it takes to purchase a home. So I'm glad that you're here. Hopefully everybody had time to put the kids away. I got my daughter locked in her, not locked in her room, but she's in her room so that way she won't be loud and get in the way of us today. But like I said, I want this to be a laid back conversation. I am going to give a lot of tips and a lot of suggestions and some facts about home ownership. But I want it to be real and honest, and I want to eliminate any fluff, scripted information. I just want this to be a fun webinar for you all. So let's get started. Meet your host. That's me, Ashley Canty. I'm a licensed real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty. I am just a few days past my first year in real estate. And my main goal is to help individuals create and learn about generational wealth through real estate and how you can invest in it and things like that. And also, like I said, I do have my notes, so sorry if I'm looking down. But I live in Roanoke. I've lived in Roanoke for 30 years. I do have a banking industry and finance background. I've been in that industry for about 7 years. And I've also helped as a credit repair consultant and helped dozens of individuals between 2017 and 2018 help improve their credit. So I'm big on words of wisdom and quotes and just positive affirmation. So I wanted to go ahead and dive into something that I thought would inspire you all today. This is by, Greg Reed. I'm sorry, I had to pull that screen to the side, but it says, a dream written down with the date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. A plan backed by action makes your dreams come true. So I hope you all do have pen and paper to write with, just to take down some brief notes if you find what I'm saying useful. But put a date down on when you want to become a homeowner. There's power in our words, and when you manifest and put it on paper, those dreams manifest into reality. I'm going to help you, as this quote says, break down the steps and put a plan together to help you become a homeowner. So with your plan, your date, and the actions that we're taking today will help your dreams of homeowner come true. So like I said before, my ultimate goal is to help individuals create wealth for generations to come through the means of real estate investing. Whether the property is owner occupied, meaning that you buy it to live in it and, you know, potentially maybe pass it down to kids, or to have renters in that property, or you're an investor where you buy land, you buy buildings, you buy homes to either rent out or buy and flip. Those are some of the things that I want to help you be able to do, because that's where ultimate wealth in this country is from real estate. So got my coffee, so let me take a sip and we'll dive in. So a few of the discussion topics that I want to go over with you all is, of course, credit. Go a little bit over the pre-approval process, talk about lenders, mortgage lenders and what they do, different types of mortgage loans that are out there, your relationship with your real estate agent, talk about some of the inspections and the cost of that as it relates to purchasing your home, talk a little bit about the under contract period, you know, what to expect, things that you are going to encounter when you're going through when you're under contract for a home, and then talk about a little bit about closings. So here we go. All right, so credit is our first topic. Now, credit is important when it comes to buying a home. Credit is important for all aspects of life, whether you're trying to buy a car, get a job, things like that. Credit means a whole lot to individuals. So it also is important when purchasing a home. You don't have to have a 700 credit score. There are lenders who will approve you at a minimum of 580. Now, that's not always the case for some lenders. You know, if you're at a 580, there's other factors that also need to be higher if you have a lower credit score. Now, ways that you can assess your credit. These are two of my favorites. MyFICO.com, it will give you a breakdown of, you know, where your credit stands. So there's your regular standard FICO, then there's a credit FICO, and then there's one for mortgages. So FICO scores are kind of like iPhones. There's different versions. There's different versions, 2, 3, 4. I think they have like a FICO 9, which just released a few. The end of last year, they just created a new model. So with that model, you're going to have different types of credit scores that show. You're going to range, you might have a 560 all the way to a 690. It's going to be all over the place. Now, the reason why that may be is because some credit bureaus may not have the correct information for you. So to assess your credit and to see where your credit is, I do recommend going on to annualcreditreport.com, and that's going to give you, it's free, so you can access it for free. Every consumer in America is allowed this opportunity to go on to annualcreditreport.com. You can pull up your information and see what exactly is on your credit. If things are not accurate on your credit, you do want to work towards getting those items removed, updated, disputed, and I can help with that. But as far as what your mortgage score is, it's not your Credit Karma score. So Credit Karma is Vantage scores. And like I said, there's different models and versions of the Vantage score also. But what lenders use is they use the Equifax Beacon 5.0. Experian, they use Model Volume 2, and TransUnion uses a risk score of number 4. So if you want to screenshot that or write that down, that's going to be important because, like I said, you're going to be all over the place when it comes to your credit, but those are what the lenders use. Now a little bit about what makes up your score. So we know the score is a number. Basically, it's what they score you on to determine your eligibility for home ownership. So the biggest part of your credit score is your payment history. Now your payment history is how often you have paid your bills on time. So I know a lot of us get letters in the mail and we see it's the bill and we throw them away. We need to stop doing that, you guys. We need to open up our mail, make payment arrangements with the people that we owe money to, because eventually if there's late payments that are reporting on your credit, it can drop your score anywhere between 40 to 100 points. If there's any chance that you may, get a bill and you see that you can't pay it on that date, you need to call that creditor and make sure or ask if you can change your due date to a different date. But you never want to fall behind on payments because that's 35% of your overall score. 30% is amounts owed. So that is your debt utilization score. So if you have a credit line of $1,000, the max that you want to spend on that credit card is $300, because that would be 30% of that credit line, which accounts for 30% of your overall credit score. Hold on, you guys. Maya, I'm doing something. Sorry. All right, come in here and get one and then go back. So, sorry, you guys, I'm a mom also. But 30% of your credit score is amount owed. So you want to have low debt when it comes to things that you might owe. So if you're renting furniture, if you have a car payment, if you have credit cards, you want to make sure that you're paying not only on time, but you're paying the minimum that's due and keeping your balances low. 10% of your credit score is types of credit. So you want to have a mix of credit. Now, a lot of people think that that credit cards are bad. It's all in how you use the credit card. You don't want to, go out and go crazy and buy things that you can't pay back. But you do want to have a mix of credit. So you want to at least have some type of revolving credit, which should be credit card or a secure card. And I can give you some tips on also some good secure card options. You want to at least have a car payment, finance your car, finance furniture. They want to be able to show that you can balance those different things. So we have credit cards, we have like auto loans, store cards, and even sometimes student loans. Student loans help also. Now, you can speak more with a lender, and I'll give you some recommendations on that towards the end, but you want to have some long-term history, which leads me into another category that determines your credit score, which is the length of credit history. So the length of time that you've had good credit or had credit, period. And then 10% of that score is your new credit. So inquiries play a part into that. If you're applying for new debt, if you're applying for new credit cards and new loans and personal loans, things like that, those take into account to your credit score. Let me get back to this because there's also some other points that I want to go over with you all on credit. I'm going to try to pull this back up, and if there's any time that I'm going too fast or you all have questions, feel free to type them in the chat box. I'll see them on my screen here, but I don't want to go too far and miss you all or someone can't keep up or something like that. So let me know if I'm going too fast or if you have questions in regards to credit. So we talked about paying our bills on time. We talked about our amounts owed. We want to keep the balances down on our credit cards. We want to have a different mix of credit. So we want to have a diverse portfolio of credit, so to say. They want to be able to see that you can manage different type of credit products. Length of credit history. Now, if you're just starting out and you don't necessarily have credit, you can go ahead, and another credit hack is to get on someone else's line of credit. So a mom, a grandma, dad, someone that has good credit history, I would go ahead and add yourself as an authorized user to their credit. Now, also keep in mind, with you getting put on as their authorized user, you're also, taking on their debt. So if they fall behind, that can affect you. If they have a high balance on their long-term credit card, that can also affect you also. So just ask some questions before you go ahead and just, put yourself on other people's credit cards, because you want to make sure that their credit is where it needs to be, so that way it's not hindering you. And also 10% is new credit. You don't want to go out and shop around like crazy. I know they do a lot of credit pulls when you buy a car. So if you're at a mall and you don't always have to, sign up for those 20% off and 10% off discounts at Macy's or at Belk and things like that, because those inquiries do hurt you. So let me get back to my notes. Like I said, you can get approved for a minimum of 580, but the sweet spot for credit is at 620 and 640. That gives you access to grants, down payment assistance. It puts you at a better position. It also helps out with your interest rate. Now, if you have towards the lower end of 600, your interest rate is going to be a lot higher. So even though interest rates are down now at 3.8%, 3.8% versus the 4.2% could be hundreds upon thousands of dollars. So it is important that you at least try to work on your credit. Now, I don't do as much credit repair as I used to in the past, but if there's anyone who needs credit assistance or credit help, I will help you decipher, your credit, things that you may want to work on to get you in a better position to buy. So after you have started to work on your credit, it's also now time to start adding some professionals into your life. You may think you've got it because you got your credit right, but don't do this alone. This is one of the most life-altering decisions that you're going to make, within your life. Is the big purchase. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you want to make sure that you're working with a team and that you're speaking with professionals to help you move along through this journey. Why is it important to contact the professionals? Like I said, this won't be too formal. I'll tell my little jokes or what I think are jokes throughout the webinar, but you can probably pull your own teeth, but you still go to the dentist. You can probably change your own tire, but you call a mechanic. You can probably do a lot of things yourself, but to save yourself the trouble, the hassle, getting dirty, and dealing with things that you don't necessarily have to, it's always important to contact a professional. As far as real estate agents go, as your buyer agent, it doesn't cost you anything to use me as your realtor. We actually get paid from the seller. So take advantage of the professionals that you have. You don't, it's not going to cost you anything to use me and to use my services as a real estate agent. So you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of that. We're going to talk next about the pre-approval. Like I said, if I'm going too fast or you all have questions, I will slow down, but let me check and make sure there's no comments that I'm missing before we jump into this topic. I can get myself back up here. I can't see it, so we'll go ahead and move on. Going back to professionals, like I said, it doesn't cost you anything to use me as your real estate agent. If you don't decide to use me, which I hope that everyone attending will at least try to use me as a real estate agent or use me as a point of contact. If you don't live in the Southwest Virginia area, that you can use me as a referral to see who I know that may be a best fit for you. I know we have some viewers here on from North Carolina, and I have a friend of mine tuning in from Maryland right now. So if you all need referrals, please reach out to me. But some of the things that you want to look for in a real estate agent is someone who you can click with. You know, this is going to be a period of time, at least 30 to 45 days. If you're working on a new construction home, sometimes our time together can be 3 to 6 months, sometimes up to a year. So you want to be able to vibe with your real estate agent. You want someone that understands you, your wants and your needs, and someone who's not just out to make a sale, you know, someone that you can almost consider as family. You know, we're not only around to show homes, we're also here to guide you and educate you. So you want to make sure that that's someone that you don't mind spending the next 30 to 45 days with. A lot of us bring different things to the table. So it's wise to, you know, just before like you interview for different colleges or you go on different interviews for jobs, I would also suggest you interview your real estate agents. You know, see what their knowledge is, their strong point is, seeing if there's someone who that you can see, you know, building a relationship with. Now, going on to pre-approvals. Pre-approvals, after you work on your credit, after you contact your real estate agent, we're going to refer you to a mortgage lender. Pre-approvals are power. Now, none of the mortgage lenders that I work with do pre-qualifications. Now, I know a lot of times you can log on online and get like free pre-qualifications, but those don't really mean anything. A pre-approval is basically when you have a mortgage lender sit down and pull your information. And this puts you in the best position to buy. So it'll give you an amount of what you're approved for. That's basically what I'm sorry, I got someone walking across the front yard at my house. I'm just looking out the window here. But a pre-approval is power in the home buying stage. You know, it means a lot as a buyer for them to have a pre-approval. Now, I know a few of you may have saw this quote. I posted it on my Facebook the other day, but don't disappoint yourself by having higher expectations higher than your current situation. So I know before I purchased my home, I was looking at, you know, $500,000 houses and the granite countertops and the pools in the backyard and things like that. That is to come. You know, that's not to discourage you and say that you'll never be able to have anything like that, but look at your current situation. A pre-approval will also identify what you're comfortable with on purchasing. When I first was pre-approved, cats out the bag, I was denied. You know, I was working on my credit, things like that, but there were some things I needed to fine tune and some things that I needed to make better for myself. Hey, whoever just logged in, thanks for joining us. But like I said, I was denied my first time. So it's a process, you guys. It's not something that's it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. But what I was going back with this is don't disappoint yourself by having expectations higher than your current situation. So first time I applied, I was pre-approved for $250,000. Now I'm like, oh yes, I'm going to get the house with this and that and X, Y, and Z. But it also made me realize of how much that's going to be out of pocket each month that I have for a mortgage. So set your expectations to where they need to be, because as your real estate agent, I'm going to help you find the perfect home. I'm going to help find something that's suitable for you. But let's just be cautious and be well aware of that. Now, going on to our mortgage lenders, some of the things that they look into when pre-approving you for a mortgage loan is, of course, your credit. And so I've given some tips earlier about how to improve that, what goes into credit, and the scoring models that the lenders use. Now, to pause on this for a second, everyone will leave today with a copy of my home buyer's guide. You're also going to get a copy of mortgage information. You're also going to get a copy of my 10 commandments of home buying, things to do and not to do. And you're also going to get some credit information to help you with your credit. So I'm going to go through this, you know, but you'll also have material and you'll also have a chance to chat with me one-on-one to more in-depth conversation about your own personal needs. But back to this, because like I said, you're going to get all that information. Mortgage lenders will help you with your credit if you don't already have the good credit. A lot of mine, if you're not where they need to be for your credit, they'll put you on a program to help you increase your credit score. So that way, when they rescore you, you'll be eligible to get your pre-approval. Now, along with assessing your credit, they also look at your debt. They see how much debt you have. They call it debt to income ratio, which is another point that I have on here is your income. How much debt did you have? Are the balances high on the accounts? Which takes us back to our credit and why it's important to have, low balances on your credit. They also want to look at your income simply just to see if you're eligible to buy, not saying someone with a minimum wage job may not get approved, because you can. I had a client earlier part of last year who was looking at homes, and she was an employee part-time, and no, she was full-time. She was an employee at Walmart, and her budget was under like 75,000, and you wouldn't believe how many homes that are on the market around that price range that she would be eligible for. But they do take an account in your income. They also take an account into your employment. They need to see at least 2 years of job history. You'll have your W-2s and things like that you'll have to submit also. They'll look at assets, if you own any assets and things that'll help better your chances of that pre-approval. And they'll also go into down payments. Now, I'm going to touch on down payments in a minute when we go over loans, but that's another one of the major things that you need to consider when purchasing a home. We'll work on, and I have resources to help you with your credit. But as far as savings, there's a budget guide and what the material that I'm going to send you after this webinar to help you budget. But you do need to have money to buy a home, and we'll get into that also. So now on to our loans. Unless you're buying unless you're buying a home with cash, you're going to most likely be financing your home. So there's different types of loan programs out there. The most common one is the FHA, and that has a lower credit score requirement. So you don't have to have the 690, 700, 800 credit scores. They do approve as low as 580. Sellers can pay up to 6% of your closing costs, and the down payment is 3.5%. Another most commonly used loan is our VA loan, and those are for our veterans. They actually have no down payment. There are still also low credit score limits and requirements for those individuals who decide to apply with the VA loan, and the seller can pay up to 6% of closing costs with that. I just got a pop-up from this webinar, so I just want to make sure I click off of that, okay? So we also have a conventional loan. Now that one does have a higher down payment, anywhere between 10 and 20%. It does have high credit score requirements. And that goes over a little bit about our most common loans. Like I said, you will receive a mortgage booklet and pamphlet about different mortgage types of loans, mortgage loans that are out there, but those are the most common and the 3 categories that you're most likely going to fall under. And like I said, if for whatever reason that you're not pre-approved the first time, or you're not approved the first time, don't get discouraged. I have plenty of clients right now that I'm working on who need to pay off a little bit more debt, who need to stay on their job a little while longer, so that way they have that 2 years of employment history. So don't let those things scare you. Don't let those things deter you from your long-term goal. Before we get to the next point, I do also want to reiterate that it's okay to shop with different mortgage lenders. I think I said that before, but put them side by side, because a lot of different lenders have different down payment options. A lot of different lenders will offer you various interest rates, which account into how much you're ultimately paying for your home. So put those individuals side by side. If you have any questions about mortgage loans or mortgage lenders, things to ask your lenders or things to be, prepared with, go ahead and write those down, because I will have like a Q&A segment at the end. Get on page with my notes. Okay, So after your credit is where it needs to be, after you talk to your realtor and selected someone to help you throughout the home buying process, you're going to also speak with your mortgage lender to get you that pre-approval and decide on what loan you're going to complete your home buying purchase with. And you're also going to be in the position to get ready to home shopping. And this is my favorite part because this is where the imagination runs wild. This is where it really gets like, how they say, ish gets real. Like it starts to get real. You start to go inside homes. You start to see yourself. You start to just decide like where you want to live your life for the next 5, 20, 10, 30 years that you have. So like I said, you are securing a pre-approval. You have your amount that you're going to be shopping with. You'll sit down with your real estate agent and go over your needs. You have you and your child, so you might be comfortable with a 2-bedroom, but you need to think, do you plan on having kids in a few years? Do you want to maybe start a home-based business and you want a room for that? Do you want to have a room, a guest room, so if family comes over, or if you have company for holidays? So you start to really think about, do you want upstairs and downstairs? Do you want a ranch? Do you want something with a big backyard? Who's going to cut the yard? Do you want a townhome? Do you want a balcony or a deck for entertainment? I mean, do you want carpet, hardwood floors? I mean, it's a lot that goes into it, but that's the fun part, and that's what really makes these type of transactions unique, is because you can be in the driver's seat and you're finding something that's within your liking and your taste and things like that. So we'll go over and identify your needs, set your standards of what you want in your home. What I like to do is, and I'm searching through our MLS, and I'll go through and pick out properties that best match and align with what you want, and then I'll send those properties your way. Now, I'm pretty good with my assessment, so we usually, the average buyer usually sees at least 5 to 10 homes. Excuse me. We'll try to get through that together, but we will go out and view properties, and like I said, see if you can see that. I know there's sometimes when clients have family that comes and see them for the holidays, they're concerned about how to get to and from. Are there hills that you got to walk up? Is there a lot of steps? Is that what's the foundation like for their family? So a lot of things come in when viewing a property. A lot of things are going through your mind, but that's what we're here for as real estate agents, to help you through that process. Also be flexible and be understanding that this is an investment, but this may or may not be your forever home. I know I've had my home since June, moved in July 4th weekend. But I'm already thinking about like what I want to do next with my next home purchase. So a lot of times our first home is not our forever home. So keep that in mind. As far as first time home buyers, a lot of them like to, get homes that are HGTV ready, and they want the shiplap, and they want the marble, and they want the granite, and they want the barnyard doors. But that's the joy of being a homeowner, because you get to create and you get to do those things yourself. So a lot of times homes that are on the market may not be those HGTV homes. So you have to go into the viewing property stage with an open mind. Just see how you can transform and what you would do different. We'll come close to getting everything on your list, but also just be open-minded about the repairs and improvements that you want to do for your home. Now, when we get to the home viewing process, let me see where my next slide is. Okay. When we get to the home viewing process, it is important that we move swiftly. Now, that's not to say we need to rush through the purchase, but homes in certain price points go faster than others. So homes that are between $500,000 and $600,000 aren't moving fast in my market currently here, because there's not a lot of people with that type of salary that can afford, a $3,000, $4,000 a month mortgage payment. Now, homes under 200,000 are homes that you see flying off the market like crazy. Under 100,000, that's another a quick market. So a lot of times what we've seen this past winter and what we forecast to see in our spring market is multiple offers on properties. So you are not going to be the only one shopping. So if there's a home that you love and you can see yourself moving into, and you want to take that chance, get with your real estate agent and have them place an offer on your home. because those homes do go quickly. Make sure there's everything else that I want to touch on with this. Also want to talk about, I think that's it. Let's be flexible. If there's any questions about this topic and what, goes through after the pre-approval process, write them down and remember them for our Q&A segment or portion of this at the end of this webinar. As far as getting you your offer, once you find the home, it is also important, like I said, to have your pre-approval, because that puts you as the better buyer. If I'm on the other end and I'm getting ready to sell my home, and I, maybe had a death in the family, or I'm switching jobs and I need to move to a different state, I'm going to want to sell my home to someone who's already prepared. I don't want to have to wait, for someone to place an offer and then now they got to work on their credit. And now they have to save money. Like, as on the seller side, you put yourself in a better position by having that pre-approval letter. Also, when it comes down to your real estate agent and putting in an offer, this is a competitive market. Like I said, there's going to be people who put multiple offers in. So your offer has to be strong. Your offer has to stand out if you really want it. So that's some of what your real estate agent will go through with you, is when we're putting in the purchase agreement, is what makes your offer stand out amongst other people's. One of those factors is your earnest money deposit. And now we're getting into the money portion of the home buying process. Now, your earnest money deposit is kind of like a good faith deposit. So like I said, let's take into consideration a seller who may be, got a new promotion and now they have to move, to Texas to start this new job. They have 3 offers lined up on the table. Your offer has the pre-approval, so they know that you're a solid buyer. They know that your credit's where it needs to be. They know that the right professionals have assessed your information and qualified you to buy a home. They also see that you have an earnest money deposit versus someone who doesn't have a pre-approval, someone who's just wasting time, and they don't have an earnest money deposit. That is like a good faith payment. So that's like, yeah, I really want this house. I'm going to put a little bit to the side to show you that this is a good faith payment. Like, I'm going to go through with this process with you. I'm not here to waste your time. I'm not here to play games. We ready to get in your house just as you ready to move out of your house. So typically it's 1% of the purchase price. Now, around this area and just people in general within the Roanoke Valley, our standard is between $500 to $1,000. I'm seeing some earnest money deposits for $250, but that, just like I said, just shows that you're a serious buyer and that you're ready to go through with the process. Make sure I'm on. Okay. So once the seller has accepted your offer, you're going to be now what's called the under contract period for your home. And the under contract is when we get into the inspections. This is the breakdown of the inspections, and I'll go through a little bit about what each of those are. But this is this is the serious part of the transaction. It was stressful to try to increase your credit score. It's kind of stressful. I wouldn't say stressful, but it's challenging to go through homes and pick out one. And you really like, the backyard in this one, but you really like how big the closet is in the second home. So, but this is the part where it really tests you. This is the part where it's crucial for you not to deter from the 10 commandments of home buying, like I said, which I'll give to you all at the end. But this is the stage where you have to be on your P's and Q's. Now, the home inspection is one of the more, besides the appraisal, is the most important for the buyers, because you want to know what you're getting into. You're not just going to buy a home that you see without knowing if the roof leaks, if the pipes are old, if there's mold anywhere, if there's a loose board on the steps, and or there's cracks in the attic. I mean, you want to know those type of things. So that's what you'll go through with the home inspection. Now, you don't buy a car often without learning the Carfax. You don't start dating a new guy without going through their Instagram and their Facebook and checking the likes and comments and who's, so you do your research on individuals before you date them, or you ask questions about a new job before you start that job. And that's no different than the home inspection. And that's what they're going to do. Have great home inspectors who will get on the roof. He'll go through different crawl spaces just to make sure that you are making a solid investment with your money. I mean, this is basically where you're real estate you're investing in real estate at this point. So it's important to make sure that you're buying something that is worth your time and worth your money. A lot of people have said to me that they are maybe afraid to buy a home because of the repairs that it might need. Now, my home inspector, when I bought this home, he was talking to me about some of my products that I had in my home, which would be the water heater, the furnace. I just had a new stove. So they'll go through and talk about the appliances that you have in your home and when to inspect, the lifespan. Or this one was just replaced in 2017, so you had X amount of years for that. But this gives you a chance to see what's exactly in the home. If this HVAC system hasn't been updated since, 1950, it's probably not a good idea to move forward with this process of buying a home. So this home inspection goes through, it goes through just about everything, even the wiring. They'll go through and look at certain things, and if the wiring is bad, they'll let you know. But this also is a chance for you as the buyer to make recommendations to the seller. So just because, let's say that, let's take it from my house, for instance, there were leaks downstairs in the basement. So before I move forward to buy this home, per my home inspection that I just paid $350 to $500 for, I need you as a seller to make those repairs before we move forward on the home. And if for some reason your seller is not going to agree to do that, or they don't give you money out of their pocket to fix those home inspections, you can walk away from the home purchase. Now, another thing that they inspect is radon, and that usually happens the same time that your home inspector is out there. They'll test for radon, which is about $100 to $175. They test for any potential health risk posed by an odorless gas. Now, some areas within Roanoke and without the world are more prone to radon than other areas, but you want to make sure that you're not exposing your family, your pets, yourself, hell, to that type of poisonous gas. You don't want those dramas with radon. So a radon test is also something that's important to have. Termite inspection, that's usually paid by the seller, but termites eat away at the house. So you don't want to, work so hard on your credit and paying things down and giving away $200, $300 for earnest money deposit, and the house is full of termites, which are little bugs that eat the wood away. You don't want that type of problem. So and termite inspection is done. Besides the home inspection, the most important inspection or assessment of the house, I feel like, is also the appraisal. Now, the appraisal is most of the time, it is ordered by the bank. It's not something that you, the buyer, have to order, but it is something that you want to pay close attention to. The appraisal is ordered by the bank, and sometimes it's about $500, and it can be rolled into the loan, your home loan that you have. It may not be an expense that you have to pay outright. But let's say that, you're putting an offer in on a home is listed on the market for $150, and you, let's say the home is on the market for $150. And so you put in your offer for that $150. It's got everything you need and that you want in a home. You're satisfied with it. You're going to make your offer strong. You're going to offer full asking price. Well, if the appraisal comes back, and let's do this scenario, if the appraisal comes back at $1,058, then you have bought that home with equity. So that means that the bank is going to give you that $150,000 that you put an offer in for that home, and you're going to walk into $8,000 equity. Now, let's say on the flip side, if the home is on the market for $150, your contract is for $150, but the appraiser comes through and says, nah, this home may be about, let's say $140. that's another out for your transaction. So you don't have to move forward with the home buying purchase if the appraisal does not come back. Now, there's different type of verbiage that your real estate agent needs to put into the purchase contract. But if the home is not appraised for the 150 that we have the offer in for and what the seller has put it on the market for, the bank is only going to give you what it appraises for. So you as a buyer are going to be responsible for that gap between the 140 and the 150. So appraisals are very important because that determines, are you making a sound investment? Now, a lot of times homes can be overpriced. And that gives your real estate agent room to negotiate offers for your home and what you essentially end up, paying and investing in your home. Let's see if anything else I want to talk about appraisals. But like I said, if it does come in higher than the offer amount or what it's on the market for, then you gain equity in your home. You don't want to start the investment process with losing money in your investment. So if it doesn't make sense, I wouldn't pay $150 for something that's worth $140. And heck, I spent my earnest money deposit. I done paid for, inspections. I've worked on my credit. I've put a lot of money into purchasing a home anyway. I'm not going to, sometimes you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But then you also know that you're going into the transaction upside down almost. So after you go through all the inspection processes, the appraisal most likely is going to be the last because that's just it. After that, you're going to go through your clear to close. So your clear to close is what your title company is going to work towards getting you. Now, the title company, they do all the research. So they check and make sure the owner is the owner of the home. And then they go through and transfer the title. So they make the property, go from them to you. And they also work on a lot of closing documents. Now, closing day doesn't take long, maybe about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on if you have any questions for anyone there. But you're going to be signing your life away. You're going to be signing so many different papers. But that's the process right there. The process says, hey, we've checked out. The appraisal comes back good. We've re-verified your credit. We've re-verified your employment because, hey, if you quit your job during this process and you don't have that income that you apply with at the beginning, we can't go forward on a loan. And that's just true. If you loan somebody some money and you expect for them to pay you back and they skip town or they go out and buy a car or they go out and, spend their money on stupid stuff, you're going to feel some type of way about that. So that's just what the banks do. They re-verify your credit. They re-verify your employment to make sure, hey, we're about to give this girl $180,000. We need to make sure that she's still in good credit standing. She's still got good employment history, things like that. And after that, that is closing day on your home. I would like to be there with you at the closing table to be able to be the one to hand you your keys to your first home or your first investment property. So that basically goes through and sums up the home buying process. Most of you already are following me on Facebook or on Instagram. This will be recorded. It will be uploaded to YouTube. And I'll also be sending out just a replay for those of who could not make it in today. That's my contact information, my email address, my direct phone number in the office that I work for, Keller Williams Realty. So let me get back to Zoom and wait a minute and go over any questions that you all may have. How do I make it bigger? Oh gosh. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. So that was that. Now, can everybody still hear me okay? And if you could give me some feedback while we still have a few more moments on this live. Anything that I went through too fast or that you want more information about, whether it be credit, the pre-approval process, the loans, picking out a real estate agent, your under contract phase, talk to me, you guys, and let me know what you want me to elaborate on more. or if you're good and you just want to wait for the material that I'm going to send out. No one has any questions. So are we ready to buy a home? Are you ready to hire me as your real estate agent so I can help you buy your first home? If we don't have any questions. Anyone still there?
I'm here, Ashley, and it was a
Okay.
very good webinar. I appreciate it. It's very
No, thank
educational.
you. I was nervous. So
You did good. You did good. And I mean, it's very educational. So, like, I got a lot of things that I realize I need to work on according to this webinar. So, I really appreciate it.
no problem. Like I said, I'll be sending out more information to help you all. Just to reiterate what all we've gone over today. A little bit of material about, helping you budget, helping you, get your credit to where it needs to be. So I'll be sending out that information also. But is there anything that you need like more clarification about?
No, I know I got to work on my credit. That's first and foremost. So I'm in the process of doing that now. So.
Okay. And like I said, and I don't know if I mentioned it on the webinar, but I do work with lenders, and what I like about this process and why I stopped really doing the credit repair is that sometimes you can get with a lender and the lender might say, you're, for the certain loan programs that they go over. So they might need your credit to be at a 620 and you come in at a 6, maybe 13, and you need those extra 7 points. Well, they'll tell you, well, if you pay this credit card down, you're going to boost your score up 13 points. So that's going to put you over the 620 that you need to be. So lenders are very good as far as that. Now, I do have some that specifically work with those type of things. So they'll assess you where you are now and say, pay $200 on here, or pay, $50 on this bill, and let's work on getting this removed from your credit. And then I'll put you in the position where you need to be to purchase your home and to get pre-approved. So I say, a lot of people try to do the credit repair on their own, but it's also good to just reach out to those mortgage lenders, because that's what they're there for, is to help you get pre-approved. They don't, it doesn't benefit them to even have a job if they're not working towards helping you get that. So I would say, reach out to me and I can send you some of my contacts, and they'll help you get on the right track as far as credit is concerned. You don't have to do it alone. And there's actually grants out there that'll also help pay some of your debt off. And I learned that through one of my lenders also, is that they have some programs that are specifically for helping people improve their credit. So they have money out there that'll help you pay off your debt. Anything else?
Ashley, you did an awesome job.
Thank you, Tracy.
You're a rock star, girl.
I was nervous, but
I want to be like you when I grow up.
But yeah, I mean, I waited long enough, and I know I don't have any mortgage lenders or home inspectors on the line with me today, but I just feel like you need the basics, at least enough to get you started and to get going. Now I will have more as I continue to practice my slides, and have more people involved, and they can even go over some details of the transactions. But I think most importantly, you just need to know the basics. Once we get through it, it'll seem like it's taking forever, but it's going to go by. Like I said, 30 days is nothing, but I will have other ones, and have more people on and other professionals that can give their insight on things like that. I'm also a qualified trainer through VHDA, and that is another loan type program, sort of like you can use the FHA, you can use the conventional, you can use the VA, but this program gives you access to down payment assistance. And for those of you all who are in the state of Virginia and who have attended this webinar with me today, I'll go ahead and send you over my link. And that's just another home buying course. And I try not to make it so long and drawn out like those, are, but I would say any feedback, and if you all would show me some love and just give me some feedback on Facebook or on Instagram or on my real estate agent page, or something that good takeaways that you learned from today. If you want to schedule like another conversation after this, whether it be about credit or some of your mortgage lenders that you want to reach out to or you want help from, give me a shout out with that, or give me any type of feedback, and I'll go ahead and get that information to you all to help you. So I appreciate it, and I'm going to be working on getting another email out with the 10 commandments of home buying, all of that information. But anything else before I log out of the webinar, y'all?
Nope. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all for spending some time with me today, and y'all have a good rest of your Saturday.
Ashley, thank you. This was really
You too.
awesome. Super informative.
All right, thank you. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.